Welcome, everybody, and welcome to our 12th Deeper Inquiry. We started these online meetups as a way to exchange some knowledge, insights, contentious points of view at times between the European activist scene. And today we have Ryan and Dario with us, who are community organizers, and they're bringing the Latin American style of community organizing, cultural practices that inform a way of bringing people together for deeper social change. And I will let them take over, introduce a little bit the Centro Educación Popular Lohana Berkins that they've been cultivating and evolving with their team. And they'll take us through a little whirlwind tour of Latin American community organizing and how it's relevant to the European or any context.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Ryan. My pronouns are they, them. I'm part of Centro Educación Popular Lohana Berkins. We are starting this with a little bit of an introduction round of who we are, and then we want to talk about mainly how we can learn from Latin American perspective in Europe activism. As I say, I'm Ryan. I have been here in Germany for the past 4 years, and my background as an activist, I have been active on theater occupation in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. Then I was active in queer movements, student movements, and I've been engaged a lot in how to build pedagogical perspective for activists with an artistic perspective, as I am a performer as well. So Dario, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hi everyone. Thank you for giving us the possibility to share our perspectives. I am Dario Farsi. I'm come from Argentina, from Buenos Aires. There I studied political science, and also I have been involved in the self-managed movements, cooperative movements, recuperated enterprises movement, and also I was a popular teacher or educator for more than 10 years in Argentina. And from those experiences, I got in touch with the methodology and the perspective of Paulo Freire and the popular education, and that's the thing that I wanted to translate from there to the German and European environment, of political environment.
Yeah, as Dario had said, like we come our Center for Popular Education, what we mainly do is we try to do this political translation, as I call it. That's how can we use the tools that we have learned into organizing and community organizing in Latin America and introduce it to this field, to this place that we are living, in order to broaden this perspective in how to build activists, not only to be organized, but as well to win fights. And we have lots of experience in winning lots of fights, although we haven't made in the past 20 years any revolution. we come with some experiences that we think they are viable, and some methodologies in which we have, for example, popular education. That's what we want to focus about, but as well the experience of our self-organized group that we have in a strategical alliance between Centro Educación Popular and our political organization that is called Bloque Latinoamericano. As well, we wanted to talk a little bit about the experience of Bloque Latinoamericano, how we are doing the connection of this political translation of education and popular education, and what we do as political organization. Dario?
Oh, thank you, Ryan. So, of course, our experiences and our commitment is based on the migrant communities in Berlin and in Germany, and mainly focus on the Latino community. And we have been part also from this. We have been part of this group called Bloque Latinoamericano, and we started to think about the possibilities of developing the Center of Popular Education based on the needs of these groups. And it's important to make some kind of historical background of how this group achieved the strategic goals, and how they developed these strategic goals, and how they achieve the structure that they have now. So the Bloque Latinoamericano was created in 2018, and at the beginning, this alliance of different groups and individuals, persons, were based on this idea of identity as being the most important thing in order to be politicized and to get organized. And at the beginning, that was very important in order to visualize and to see, okay, there is a huge community of migrants that coming from Latin America due to the crisis in our regions and due to the crisis in our countries. And identity was the main tool in order to get together. But of course, I think that most of the movements go through these phases of dealing with something that get together the members of the people, but at the same time, you need to develop some kind of a strategy. So they need to develop some kind of political identity outside their identity as a person. In that regard, we went through a process of debate about how we wanted to be organized, and how our organization should be seen outside from what it was, from not only from outside but also from inside our organization. And the idea was to define some kind of axis or main topics. We started to talk about anti-imperialism. We started talking about anti-patriarchy, and also we're starting to talk about thinking society of post-capitalist society. So those were the first axis of our political development. Of course, that was not something that was without a cost. So a few people that were part of the group left the group because well they wanted to be more in an alliance, or more they wanted to be part of groups where identity was not the most important thing. But after that, of course, due to these new goals and these new political ideas, a lot of people came to the group, and also the group started to grow. The main thing, or the main change between an alliance, the main thing between an alliance that's based on identity, or only getting together to organize demos, or maybe to go to the street, or make some different kind of activities, is that you need a structure. And of course, we develop this an internal structure, but at the same time, we develop an external structure, or like a general structure. And we think that this structure is based in three main things, or three main goals that we want to achieve. One is the basis groups, or the grassroots groups, where people are not only part of the Bloque Latinoamericano, but mainly they are maybe part of the community. They are part of this group of activists they are interested in things like housing, tenant movement, or maybe social injustice, precariousness at the work space. And these spaces are open, and the idea is that these spaces can develop activities, but also they can do training process, and also they can organize campaigns or different kinds of actions in order to visualize the different types of problems that the community, and also not only the community but the city has. The second level is the level of the organization. That would be, of course, the Bloque Latinoamericano, but could be another organization in the future. And in this organization, we think that the activists should transform themselves into militants. I know that in English that sounds a bit like controversial, but I wanted to explain that we want to explain that activists for us is people that commit their life in order to transform reality, and not only they're connected with maybe some kind of so critical point, or maybe it's like a huge thing happening, so the people get active, but after that they are not active anymore. So I think that the militants need to have this commitment, and also it's also an ideological commitment. So, and these people that are organized that are together at the organizational level needs to be more. There needs to be more cohesion from a political perspective. Also from how to be in the places. That is also important for us, that the people that is part of the organization share some kind of ethical ideas or perspective from in order to be and to behave with other people. That is also very important, because we don't want to have these typical relations and relationships in the political movement like they used to be in the traditional parties organization. And this organizational level should be the force, should be the power in order to maintain the things going, to maintain the campaigns, the activities, the perspective, the political training working. And we are like we call it like we are the infrastructure of these grassroots groups. And at the end, the third level is the movement level. And the idea is that there we connect with other organizations, we connect with other campaigns, we connect with other activities that are also organized in different levels. And the idea is that in the organization should play a role in like a bridge between the basic group, the grassroots groups, and these campaigns, networks, and different kind of things that are massive, and they need to be or they tend to be, or their aim is to be a political factor, a political tool in order to transform reality. We think that with grassroots groups and with organization, it's not enough to transform reality. We need to create this huge movement with different perspectives, with different ideologies, in order to be a reality, a fact of power, that no one can say, okay, we are going to ignore this movement. It's like the MST in Brazil, MST in Brazil, the feminist movement in Argentina. I would say here the campaign of DBE. I think they have achieved this kind of movement style organization, and we think that these three levels are the way of coming from, these three levels, the history and the perspective, are mainly the background of how we understand community organizing, political organizing, but also how identity could lead to a more complex and a more defined type of organization that at the end has the possibility, or could have the possibility, to transform reality.
Yeah, taking on that, I want to speak a little bit about what are the limitations that we found when we moved to Europe in order to do activism, what's really different, and what has been a limitation when we wanted to translate these tools that we have. We think like the title of everything, we would say like neoliberalism has a bigger influence on the subjectivity of activists here in Europe, and that's a thing. That's the main thing, which is the role of every person, every subjectivity of every individual in a political group. It's also a main thing, because we think that here building collectives that can actually act on the reality are more difficult, because many times we have found that people think, I'm sorry to say this if it's too polemic, but I think that some individuals think that their own thinking is bigger than the collective thinking. And sometimes what we have to do is to question ourselves, to say, hey, my opinion on this is this one, but the majority of the this group thinks these other things. Let's just try what the majority thinks, and then let's do like Auswertung, balance. Help me here, Dario. How do you say this?
So yeah, we have let me think about the concept. Sorry, I
Go back. Let's go back to what we actually have done, and let's see if that was correct or not. And that's a really big part of the democratic process. It's not just about seeing what we have to do, but as well like reflectioning, that's the word, evaluation, reflection and evaluation about what we have done, and to see if the minority of the people were right or the majority, or we have done that in reality, that thing of one part of the people being with the position and the minority with another one, we have to we have had to put more effort into building like some synthesis of this. But in this, it's really important to do things. And we have came to the conclusion that sometimes, as well because we live in Germany, some of the things are really so much thought before the action, and sometimes we just have to act and then to do evaluation and to think if we were right or we were not right. And that's the thing, like we have to trust a little bit more the collective and to make more questions of ourselves and to trust that sometimes we have to put more doubts within ourselves. Another big limitation that we have found, that you have talked a lot about it, it's about which is the role of identity. But I want to put another example. We think like identity can have like a really political potential. You know, just to talk wrong about it. Like we have built an organization that's called Bloque Latinoamericano. Many people come to us because they are Latin American peoples and they want to find the community. And that's a really good part of politicization. We have had to take all of the identities of the different people in order to see that they are experiences of different people who have had of violence. For example, migrant communities, women, queer people. We have had experiences of violence from this society, and gathering to acknowledge that we have had those violence is a good first step of politicization, but we have to overcome these experiences in order to build an heterogeneous from experiences organization in order to have more power to act. And that we have to study a lot of our history. And that's the third point that I wanted to talk about, neoliberalism. Like neoliberalism teach us that we don't have a history and we have to recover the history. We have to recover the people who have been in the political organization doing great things. For example, our name is Lohana Berkins. Lohana Berkins was a trans activist who have imposed one of the biggest or the most progressive in the world laws that have been approved in a state. That's a identity gender law in Argentina that says that basically the state has to approve any gender that you self-perceive yourself. And that's really like, and a state doesn't have to have a paper. You don't have to have a paper in order to prove to the state that you feel like any gender. That's really a revolutionary law. No one knows her, and no one knows the fact that she has been involved in a political organization. She was a communist. She was a communist communist party in her history. She was a trans woman building collectives, and that's the main thing. If you have talked about with Lohana or with Diana Sakasharo, many of these people, they will have said the most important thing is the class thing, the most important thing is the party, the most important thing is actually the collective. And so what we need to do, and going to trying to give a closure to this presentation, what we have to do is actually build power from below. And we have further developed, sorry, we have further developed this idea of building power from below, and we have found that we have different tools in order to do that. Education, popular education is one tool. It's a pedagogical approach, how to build power from below and how to gather with other people. But as well, we have popular communication, we have popular economy, and those are different projects that are questioning the status quo within social movements, and those are our tools in order to question the status quo and to self-organize the answers in order to build that power from below. But without the political organization, that's the glue within the popular education, communication, popular communication, popular economy, and all of those projects and all of the social movement. Without the political organization, we cannot have a glue between all of those things. And the last thing that I want to say about this is that our power from below, our political project, has to have what a Cuban popular educator had said, like, has to be a source of life for action. That means, like, it's not enough to have a really rational political project. We have to have a rational political project, of course, but when people come to our spaces, it's really important that people feel like they are in safe spaces where we are prefigurating the relationships that we want to live in the future. People has to feel good in our spaces, because we have to take care of ourselves, of course, but we have to achieve political objectives. And that's the thing. That's the two things that you have to live together. We have to feel good in the spaces that we are in, but at the same time, we have to achieve political objectives in order to have this feeling that being organized works to win stuff. And we have to win more stuff to prove the whole society that our political project can give more answers to the whole society than the project of the people who are on the power. And with that, I think we can go to the questions.
And that's a wrap. Thank you both, Dario and Ryan, and everybody for watching. And stay tuned to see what our next deeper inquiry is going to be on, coming up in a couple of months. Ciao.